right, everybody, welcome to the Black Tornado Podcast. Today we're talking to Colorado desert rock artist Doctor Nez.
Hey.
What's going on, Doc?
Hey, not a lot, thanks for having me on. I'm just chilling at home. It's a nice Saturday to be hanging out with y'all. I've been looking forward to this. We talked about this like a good month ago, so it's nice to finally see it.
And it's been in my head for a while prior to talking to you about it, just thinking like,
he's been planning it for a long time, Adam.
I've been talking about it for a little bit. I just, Ian will tell you, I only play music on the show that I actually like. I'm never going to play a band and go, these guys suck, but beg me to do it, or, I don't really like these guys, but they're friends. I'm only going to play it if it's good. If they happen to be friends, that's just a nice perk, but I'm only going to play stuff that I like.
Hey, that means a lot.
No, yeah. I mean, for us, for anybody, my friends that listen to the show, I don't want to put on something that they're going to go, dude, that song sucked. I don't want to play good stuff. So out of all of those bands, there's only a handful that I've kind of gone on about, like the Devil's Level. I go on about them, or Snake Handler Church. And when I heard Mark the Grave, I got beef with you. Real quick, before we get into the show. I got beef with Dr. Nez.
Oh, okay.
So, the episode airs, I listen to it. I'm making dinner, and I'm singing I have the chorus is stuck in my head for about 45 minutes. I'm just singing along to the song.
That's a massive compliment. And I apologize for the curse.
I'm singing. Well, after about 30 minutes, I go, oh, son of a bitch, I can't get it out of my head. But no, that is a staple of a great song, is when it gets stuck in your head.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like the hard rock and metal artists that like shy away from catchy. That like
catchy's fun.
I think there's some people who and I think make what you want to make, obviously, but I think there are some people that try to shun like poppy sensibilities to such a point that they wind up making these like really like dense riff salad kind of things. And I listen to Dream Theater, there's nothing wrong with that. I listen to Opeth and stuff, but at the same time, those bands, the reason that everybody knows those bands is typically they know when to pull back and give you a hook. And sure. I feel like there's a lot of songs out there that I'm like, man, that was an awesome track, but I don't remember how any of it went. Like as soon as the song is over.
There's nothing really memorable in the song itself. You just knew whether you liked it or not.
I'd say there's a very important difference between songwriting and arranging. People think they're the same thing. You can be a good songwriter and a terrible arranger, and the song then comes out boring. Like part of what you're talking about, the pop structure thing, is understanding. Like I talked to my friend about it. He's amazing at it, and I can't do it. It's about understanding what the audience want to hear and not giving them enough of it. Because if you carry on playing it, they're only going to listen to the song once. But what you're very good at is going, okay, that's the catchy part. I know everyone wants to hear me sing it again, but if you want to hear me sing it again, you're going to have to listen to it twice. And that's what pop's very good at. Like it forces you to keep going back to it because you don't get enough of it every time. And that's good arranging and good structure.
Yeah. It really is. It's like drugs. It really is. Like you give them that first hit and they always come back.
Yeah. That's the song that gets repeated over and over, replayed over and over. And that's the song, that gets stuck in your head. I think I've listened to everything that you have up on Bandcamp.
Okay.
Yeah, I've checked it all out. I go down rabbit holes with groups. I'll find somebody and then I just got to listen to everything they put out. So I went through my Dr. Nez phase. I burned through everything on Bandcamp. I'm all caught up.
Okay.
So we were talking about how we had been planning this for a month or so, and I had just a question that I can't seem to recall. Who found who first? Because we've been following each other for a hot minute.
I think I tripped over you guys first, but okay. I think so I was working with I started talking to some of the guys and girls that are over on like the Doom charts, because the Doom Charts, they kind of have like a committee of sorts that
I know
goes
the
through
Doom
all their
Charts
stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working with Kyle from Good Boy PR.
Oh yeah,
and
love a bit of Good Boy PR.
Respect the Good Boy PR. Respect.
And I think I found you guys by being in Kyle's circle.
Nice, very cool. Yeah, because a lot of bands will follow us. A crazy amount of grindcore bands. Not that I have anything wrong with that, but a crazy amount of grindcore bands follow us.
Interesting.
We've played a little bit. I like that style of music.
I think
I am capable, Adam, of taking good things from things that I'm not necessarily a fan of.
Right.
That's why I'm a host on this show. That's why you are, because even if I don't like something, I'll go, no, that's good. I really like it. It's just the style. It doesn't mean the style of music's bad. It just means I'm not a fan of grindcore.
Well, let's be honest. It's kind of difficult to critique a song when it's 7 seconds long.
And you hear everything at once.
It's just hard. It just goes bap, and then it's over, and you go, I really liked his use of chord progression there. Really something.
I really love how that drummer hit the snare 147 times in 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, it's amazing. So anyway, that was just something random that I was going through questions, and I was thinking about what to ask you, and then that just popped in my head, like who did originally find the other one? But that's really cool to know that Good Boy PR is the reason.
Yeah, he's the conduit, I think.
Yeah, he's a really cool dude. He's helped us out a ton, and just really turns us on to great bands. I think that the service that he provides is incredibly important.
Can I just say as well, though, I think it's quite nice as well, just as a coincidence, that it was somebody who's already part of the sort of community. Do you know what I mean? Because we are building a sort of community of regular
Well, that's what I mean.
and...
That's what makes it extra cool, is it was somebody that was involved with us,
listen to this.
Like you said, it kind of grows the little Black Tornado community, just people that kind of know each other, and that's really cool. But we are here to listen to Dr. Nez's music, so let's get into our first track. This is Dr. Nez with High Desert Lows.
that'll never
One thing about your music, and this is something I wanted to get into, is the guitar tones, man, I think are absolutely excellent. Like, really some of my favorite stuff. So as much as I want to talk about the song, I do want to talk about guitar tone.
Okay.
What's going on there?
Okay. So this is where I reveal that I'm a disgusting child of the 21st century, because I mean, the basement that is there video on this podcast, or is this going to be audio?
Audio only. Just
okay.
Audio.
So, viewer, you can't see it, but the hosts here, Adam and Ian, they can see it. I'm sitting in a basement right now that is literally where all this stuff gets made. Unsound treated, it's not a studio, it's a basement. So everything that I'm recording on the guitar is going directly into my audio interface, and then I'm using Sims for that. So I use a sim that's based on the Fortin Cali. It's like a super boutique, like Marshall on steroids thing.
Okay.
And I dial in sounds with that one, which it's got the whole amp in front of you and everything. And I dial in the sounds on that, and then I've got a pedal board that's all on there. And sometimes I use a real pedal board that also goes into the audio interface. So sometimes you're hearing real pedals with like quote unquote fake amps.
As an amp sim nerd, because that is my thing. I haven't owned an amp for 20 years. Like everything I've done through amp sims of various. Because I wrote in my notes, like genuinely, the first thing I put is that it got a really nice guitar tone with nice sharp edges, but it wasn't fizzy. Mm-hmm. And one of the things you combat a lot with amp sims is there is a weird sort of fizziness sometimes you have to fight, and it didn't have that at all. And I wouldn't have said that was a sim. So what sim are you using, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, it's the so it's the Cali suite, which is made by Fortin.
Oh, it is the Fortin one, yeah.
It is the Fortin.
Yeah.
So I'm using the Fortin. By the way, any guitar nerds that are listening to the show, that thing is like pretty cheap. It's like $99 forever. Okay. So there's no licenses or anything like that. It's not free, but it's a one-time deal, and then you've got it. Yeah. No, it's just one and done. It's really cool. Nice. So what I do with that to like combat because you're right, there is a ton of fizziness, and like if you don't do it right, it sounds horrible, and you can't mix around it. It'll bleed into, like, if it sounds too fizzy and too sharp and stuff, it'll also, like, you can never get your vocals to mix in right.
No, and it kills your cymbals and stuff as well.
It's just noise.
I'm so glad you understood the question in the way I asked it, because some people, like, who aren't producer people, the minute you went, oh no, they can be a horrible fizziness with amp sims. Like, if you've worked with them, there's this weird frequency in them somewhere that you always have to take out.
Yeah, and it becomes literally stressful to listen to Like
Yeah.
it's just unpleasant on your brain itself. So what I normally do is, and if you put in buds, you might be able to pick it up. Like if you use earbuds or something, is like, so on your right, I'm gonna have something like the harsher guitar is usually going to be panned like 60 to 70% to the right, so it barely bleeds into your left. And then on the left, you're going to have more of like kind of the stonery, doomy sort of tone that's like it's all mids and it's really like crunchy and stuff. That's usually going to be living in your left ear with just a little bit panning over to the right. So they wind up meeting in the middle. And you have this experience of, wow, that's a really heavy guitar, but for some reason it's not piercing my eardrums. It's because you've only got the mean guitar really on one side.
Because what I tend to find over my years of experience, because I'm like you, I've just spent years just twiddling knobs and learning as much as I can that way, because I don't absorb information well from looking at video lessons and shit. So I just turn knobs. Like over the years, I've found that I've got tinnitus, and with amp sims, it's nearly always around 4K is where that horrible hiss, which you're saying is the one that starts making it hard to listen to. It fatigues your ears and your brain, and it gets a bit painful.
Yeah, no, I've got a little bit of tinnitus in my right. So that's why I put the mean guitar in the right, is because I know that if it doesn't upset me, if it doesn't upset me, then it shouldn't upset anybody.
That's why I always take the 4K out or around there until it stops setting my tinnitus off, and I'm like, well, if it's not setting mine off, it's not going to make anybody else's ears hurt.
Yeah, and here in the basement when I'm writing, I use a Fender bass breaker. It's like a tube amp. It's like
beautiful amp,
like 15-inch tube amp. Nice. So I use a bass breaker and I write all my stuff on that, and I try to find my tone on the bass breaker. And then for the sake of clarity and stuff, I use the sim, but I try as hard as I can to recreate what the sound my bass breaker was making.
Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody in this conversation might know the answer to this, but isn't the bass breaker the amp that Clapton used for years and years and years?
He was using, I want to say he was using the Blues Breaker.
Yeah, I always get the two mixed up. That's why I ask.
The bass breaker is kind of, here I go mansplaining my amp.
It's what we're here for, man.
Yeah, the bass breaker is a fairly recent development. It came out in the 2010s.
Right. Yeah, that's the newer one. Yeah.
It's a hybrid between the Bassman and the Blues Breaker. They wanted to find something that was kind of in the middle of that.
Yeah, so it was the Blues Breaker that he was using in Cream and the Yardbirds and shit then.
Yeah.
Beautiful amp, though. Like anything based around that amp is just, it's got such a lovely saturated fat tone to it that you can use for so much stuff.
Yeah, they're great. And the bass breaker has like 3 gain profiles on it. Mm-hmm. And if you use the low one, and then if you use the low gain profile and then kind of contradict it by turning up the gain knob, you wind up in kind of like a Clapton-y, Mayer
overdriven
sort of place.
Yeah, just a cranked clean amp, more like a vintage Fender where you're just pushing the power not the power section, the other bit. You're just pushing that really hard on a clean amp and getting it to break up naturally as opposed to distortion.
Yeah, exactly.
So when did you start the Doctor Nez project?
Dr. Nez, I started, so some of the songs that you heard, especially on Scary Faces, some of those songs are years and years and years old, and I didn't know what I was going to do with them.
Right.
So I played around with a bunch of different like band names and project names and trying to figure out what I was going to call it. And then Doctor Nez started off. Dr. Nez is a D&D character that I made in like 2019.
Oh, nice.
And he wound up being like one of my favorite character ideas I ever had. I'm a massive Dungeons and Dragons nerd.
Oh, same, bro. If I could move my camera, I got all my 5e books right over there.
Right on. Yeah. Okay. That's good to know. But when I started trying to figure out what the heck I was going to call this new project, I kept like falling back to, I was like, man, Dr. Nez is like, has a real ring to it. Like it's a real catchy name. And I just decided after a while, I was like, screw it. I'm calling it Dr. Nez. And
I guess my final question of the episode doesn't apply anymore.
It wasn't Do You Like Dungeons and Dragons, was it?
No, I ask everybody that at usually the beginning. I forgot what Doctor Nez. But my final question of the episode was going to be, are you a doctor?
Oh.
Okay, so we got our answer early.
Doctor, he's got a degree in songwriting, dude. Like, yeah. Of course he is.
Hey, yeah. No, he's got a degree in tone. You are Dr. Nez.
Genuinely. I say it as a jokey, but you really, and like it was noticeable on the High Desert Lows. Like you have a very good ability for, like Adam was saying about the pop structure and stuff. It was very noticeable in that the structuring of the song, knowing when to let it have some space early on, knowing when to build it up and give it some like that's something that not everybody. Some people spend years learning how to do that. Like. It's good songwriting ability, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. I really do. But like that's a breath of fresh air for me because High Desert Lows was probably the hardest song for me to write out of all of these because I spent forever fighting with myself on what the hell to put in the second verse, and then I just decided to not give it one.
Yeah. Maybe it doesn't need one.
Yeah.
Go full prog. Don't give it any. I did a song that had no chorus once. Nobody noticed.
Sometimes it works.
So do you, where are we at live shows? Are there any live shows? Do you plan on doing any?
Plan on it, yes. When, I have no idea. The economy is a rough animal right now. And because I want Doctor Nez to always be what I want it to be, which that sounds really full of myself, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. Like I always want it to be what I need it to be at any given time, which means my live shows are going to be at the whim of hired guns.
Right.
And I absolutely refuse to bring on a band that I can't pay.
No, and Adam I wouldn't say that's selfish at all, because me and Adam have talked about this, excuse me, a few times on various episodes. There are different ways to run bands. Mm-hmm. Like I was in a band years ago where we agreed from the start it didn't matter who wrote what, everything was split 4 ways between the 4 of us, because we had a personality in the band who was, it potentially could have been a problem later down the line if we hadn't have done that, because he didn't do much writing but he wanted a lot of credit. So we were like, look, we'll just split everything. But then there are other situations, like Megadeth are a great example, where it is understood that one guy is the creative force in that band. Mm-hmm. And that is perfectly acceptable as long as the other members don't join that band expecting to one day have creative input. And there are lots of musicians who are happy to just play somebody else's music. It's not a selfish thing.
Yeah, absolutely. My big thing is just knowing for a fact that I can at the very least, cover all of my instrumentalists' gas. Like that's minimum. And right now, I'm a brokey. Right now, that's not a thing I can do. So live shows, I really, really, really want to do that. But I've got to find the right guys, and I've got to make sure that I can make it worth their time.
If you ever do find yourself with your band together, I know a lot of people in like the southern part of the state of Indiana. So if you ever find yourself out this way, I can get you a show.
Hell yeah. No, that'd be awesome.
We get some people out there.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, all I was going to say is to the people who are listening, you should probably take heed of this man's attitude. Like it's a professional thing. And I've got to compliment you for the fact that you refuse to do it if you can't support the people that are part of it. Because as band, like you're clearly accepting that if I'm taking the responsibility of being band leader, I need to be a leader. And there are a lot of people who want to be the leader but don't want the responsibility of when it becomes a band and there's money involved, and that like it is a business as well, and you have to be professional or you won't succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. Number one, thank you. I really, really appreciate that. And number two, I've been there. Like I've been like the bassist for a solo act before. You know, we go play Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night. Get back into town. He drops me off at my car, and I'm standing at his car window, and I'm like, all right, so how much did we make, man? Like where's my cut? And he's like, sorry, dude, we came out in the red this weekend. And I'm like, well, what the hell was I doing all weekend then?
Yeah, what was the point of all of that? I mean, there is a certain extent where, yeah, you're playing music for fun, but if you're traveling and you're taking time away from family or your other job or anything like that, you should be absolutely compensated, and there should be a baseline that regardless of what happens, you're guaranteed this amount.
Well, if I'm gonna make no money playing music, I at least want it to be my songs. So
that's fair enough.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and that's the thing too, is like if I do get these gigs going, if I come out at a flat zero, but I got a gig, and my bassist, my drummer, and my other guitarist, they all make $50-$100. As far as I'm concerned, I win, because like this was my prerogative. So. Sure, I'd love to make a couple bucks doing it, but at the end of the day, if these guys were able to make my gig come true, I should be the last guy to take home any money.
I hear that, and I'm sure
That's
a lot of
very
touring,
respectable position to take.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sure there's a lot of touring
musicians
musicians that wish that the people that they were working for felt the same way that you do.
Yeah,
not just musicians. I've worked in jobs for people like that, and as you've been through
regular
it, I'm sure
jobs
you
too.
will vouch for this. It is actually really demoralising having to go cap in mouth to the guy who's got the money and ask for your own money. Like, it gets very demoralising very quickly. And I like the fact that you understand that and you don't want to put somebody else in that position because you've been there. Mm-hmm. And like, you tend to find the only people that do that are people who have been there themselves because they understand. And then the guy who's got all the money and fucks off with it, he doesn't care about anybody else. And he doesn't get anywhere in the end because everyone goes, well, he's an arsehole.
No, yeah, he drank all the money at the gigs.
Exactly.
Right. All right, let's take a quick break. Let's jump into some more music. Continuing on with our interview with Dr. Nez. This is Left All Alone. I really love the bass on that because
Me too.
it was a fun bass line, but it was predominant without being overpowering, which a lot of bands, they always like lower their bass where you almost have to isolate it in your own ear. But the bass on that track was as a bass player, like right where I wanted it.
It was the instrument. It was the lead instrument in that song.
That's again really good to hear. See, you guys don't even know that you're just one at a time knocking away every insecurity I have with these songs.
Oh, we hope in a positive way.
Yeah.
The thing I thought,
in a good way. You're just saying, hey, that thing you were worried about, out of here.
Yes, we love the part you were worried about. It's her favorite.
Yeah.
It links exactly to what Adam was saying, but a band that, because of the style of the intro of that song, and like we're saying, the bass being the lead instrument with the rhythm section and having the space and stuff, it got a real 9 Inch Nails vibe to it to me.
Thank you.
A little bit.
I'm
I hear that.
so glad you reacted like that, because that's how it felt. I was like, this is a guy who likes a bit of 9 Inch. There's some industrial electro influence in here. It's hidden, but it's there.
Yeah, no, I spent my teen years like blasting Pretty Hate Machine and Year Zero. Those were my two, were Pretty Hate Machine and Year Zero. But I was also listening to Rammstein's Mutter and Risa Risa like on repeat. And nobody talks about Mutter or Risa Risa. And they have like the weirdest stuff in them.
Stuff.
And I wanted to do that. And I was like, I don't know, like I'm kind of just barely getting my foot inside like the doom and stoner door. Are they gonna dig it? And I was like, well, there's three other songs on this EP that they'll definitely like. So this will either be an outlier or it'll be a happy surprise. I don't know which one, but we're going.
No, that one, Left All Alone turned out really good. I mean, so I had a question about the title. It said that the version that I received is the radio cut. So was that a shortened version of this?
Yeah, it's a shorter cut, and it's a more like vocally melodined cut. Like it's more perfected as far as like I actually went in and pitch correction, because normally I try to just get the best take I can and not really go into the pitch correction, but since it has the electronic elements, I actually thought it would personality-wise fit.
Yeah, it adds character to the performance. Like you can use effects in the right way and the wrong way, and like I said, in that it was subtle. Like but it gives it the vibe that it needed, and fits in with the music that's there. So it wasn't offensive, and like it was really well. And that's what Trent Reznor's really good at. Knowing where the space is, letting the bass and the synths take the space, and then pushing with the vocals when it needs it to. And that's what he did really well on that.
So I let the radio cut has more inhuman elements than the full cut does. The full cut has and there's no other word for it. It has sloppier vocals. There's stuff that goes flat. There's stuff that like perfectionists aren't going to like about the long cut, but the long cut has this really long, like falsetto-y bridge that isn't in the radio cut. And both versions are on Spotify. Like you can check them both out.
Oh, right on. Okay, cool. I'll have to listen to the other version then.
But yeah, the long version is sloppier and has a lot more like weird decisions with the vocals.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good to know that if you've only heard the radio version, you can jump on Spotify and you can hear the longer version of that song. Let's see, what else did I have here? Oh, this is one I've been wondering for a little bit. So how did you get hooked up with K4CO Radio?
I have no idea. I really don't. I have no idea. I've never approached them. We've only talked through like the social media comments and liked each other's stuff and everything. I think they just dug Mark the Grave and they went on Bandcamp and just downloaded the MP3 and started throwing it on the show.
Oh, how cool!
But they play me almost
like a fun surprise
Friday.
For you.
It was an absolute surprise, and I was a little afraid. I don't know how many shows I've missed before I realized they were tagging me, because they play me almost every single Friday.
Cool.
And so now every time that they post like, hey, it's Friday, we've got these bands, if I'm tagged on it, I always make sure to like it, I share it, and I say, you guys are awesome, thanks so much. But I don't know. Somebody there just likes me. So
somebody found you and said, this guy's right for the show. I mean, that's kind of how Black Tornado works, is like a lot of stuff comes in submission. You know, people will send tracks via email.
So you found me.
That's right. But a lot of times I'll just jump on Bandcamp. I'll look around for stuff, or I'll contact bands on Instagram and stuff. But it is kind of cool when something falls in your lap like that. And for you, it's got to be kind of fun to wake up one day and go, "Hey, what's on this radio show? It's pretty sweet."
Yeah.
You know, so as cool a musician, the organic, natural stuff is a lot more encouraging. Like, you take way more from that than you do from one person who you've asked to listen to it, saying they listen to it, because that person found it on their own and they liked it without and they've come to you. And I've been there, so I know exactly how it fit. It's such a lovely feeling to know that somebody has found it and likes it.
Yeah, listeners, you can't see how deeply I was nodding my head just now in agreement with that statement. Because, I'll send, I do the indie band grind where I'll just go downstairs, get on the computer, and send 100 emails. Yep. And I'm lucky if 5 bite the hook. And then, so you're kind of like, man, okay, well, my song sucks. Nobody wants to play it. That's fine, I guess. And then a random radio show or like a podcast that I've been listening to, guys.
Yeah, it keeps you going.
Yeah, it pops up and they're like, well, we like it. And I was like, oh, well, okay, well, I guess I'll keep making this stuff then.
My project would have died around the time you found me, Adam, had you not found me. There was you and a couple of other people. I think that radio station actually may have played me at one point. Is that, what did you say, KC something? Is it Caribou Radio or something?
No, it's
there's a internet radio station that
I know it is that I can't remember off the top of my head, but I mean that's really cool. Well, I'm sorry, go ahead.
K4CO, K4 Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado, that's what it is, right? Yeah. And I think that's so cool because they kind of do, more or less what we do.
It's so much more encouraging to musicians when there's actual supporters of actual music around in the industry, which is what that person clearly is. They're looking for new music instead of just going through the playlist of stuff that they're told to play all the time. Yeah,
Ian, you were talking about Radio Chaos Caribou.
That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I've done a little bit of work with them too. They seem cool. They're a little they're very official.
Yeah, it was a long time ago I had a play from them, but that was a similar thing. They contacted me and it was like, oh, holy shit, like somebody found it.
Yeah, they're very, very, very official.
Yeah, that's one thing. I think it's changed a bit more since then.
It's one thing with this show that is probably my favorite thing is we'll play a band and they'll just be happy that we did it. They just hit us up and, hey man, thanks for playing us, whatever. And but the really cool part, which has happened with you, my buddy Rich, we listened to a lot of the same music, so he was digging your stuff as much as I was. But it's kind of cool when, like, I'll get a personal message from a friend, and they'll go like, the band you played, the other week, I love those dudes now. Like, that's so cool knowing that I was able to introduce people to bands that, now they follow them versus like, I like the episodes like the Philippines and the Italy episode because there's no way you're going to know who these bands are. No way. You're never going to hear them. And if you find one that you really like or something that resonates with you and you continue to follow that band, it's like, kind of pat myself in the back. Like, I showed you that band. How cool.
Absolutely.
And so when we find stuff, that we enjoy, I mean, that's the whole part of the show. Yeah, with you, I've been wanting to put you on for a while, and I just wanted to fit it, in the right place. So I'm really happy that worked out. I'm happy that, like I said, I had a few friends hit me up and tell me how much they enjoyed the song and that they wanted to dig in further, check out some more stuff. I'm like, it's absolutely cool.
Right on.
A little random question, but will the song "Ask Me" ever see the light of day?
Where did that come out? Hey, wait a minute.
Deep cuts, right?
Huh. Oh,
he's a detective.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
I pulled a Nardwar on you.
Yeah.
I went deep, dude.
You put some work on your on the little scroll wheel on your mouse to find that
little bit, man. Little bit.
That little confessional.
Little bit.
Will it ever see the light of day? I think it might.
Okay.
It'll take a re-record.
Mm-hmm.
It'll take some rewriting.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's dead forever. What I do think is that it's probably going to be relegated to like a B-side or something, like in between EPs or in between albums or something. It'll probably be like a one-off.
Nice.
But yeah, maybe someday.
Very
Just
cool.
waiting for the right inspiration to finish the rework.
I guess so. I just kind of like what it was supposed to be on Scary Faces. And the more I wrote for Scary Faces, and as I started Ask Me was the first song that I ever sat down in front of a DAW and made a digital audio workstation for the.
Right.
Yeah. But it was the first one I ever did. It was like, let me see if I can learn how to do this.
Yeah.
And that was the first one I did. So I started making more songs, and I went back and I was like, this isn't it anymore. But yeah, maybe someday.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, I thought we'd have fun with that one. I thought there's a question that he's not going to catch that.
Hey, no, you put me on the ropes there for a second. Really?
Yes. Did. Sorry, man. Had to throw one deep one out there for you.
Oh, I love
full Deontay Wilder on you there. Just one lunging hook.
All right, let me go super easy and fun. What's the next plans? What's coming up next?
So what's coming up next is the High Desert Lows single that we listened to just a little bit ago.
Mm-hmm.
Will be hitting Spotify sometime in October.
Okay.
I originally was going to put the EP in October, but it needs a little more time to cook, and especially with us doing this, so this is supposed to air in November, yes?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, so HDL, the single, should just be out. It should be fresh.
Cool.
And then the EP, I'm now looking at November.
Okay.
I wanted to sync it up with Halloween because it's got a little bit of spookiness to it.
Sure.
But I decided to go for November because I've still got one more song that I really, really, really want to get on there. I want to make it a six song instead of a 5 song. So.
Awesome. Yeah, let us know. Shoot us over the information, and we'll help promote it on our end as well.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
so
totally.
EP, and then I think I'm gonna take a step back, and instead of working on an EP, I think I'm gonna work on some one-offs.
Okay.
And release those over Q1 of 25.
Gotcha.
And then, like your question asked, I'm really, really hoping for at least a couple of gigs in 25. I really think some of these deserve to hit a stage.
Absolutely.
So yeah, those are the goals right now. But basically, I'm almost always in a state of, I decided not to work in full albums because full albums at my level aren't really
fucking stressful.
They're stressful and they never pay off, in my opinion. So I think EPs are really a cool way to you're still releasing works and they can still have a concept, but you can kick out 1 or 2 EPs a year. So yeah, I'm going with the mostly the EP model, but
very cool.
I think I'm just gonna have a little bit of fun with it in 25 and see if I can hit a stage.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, you get a show going, let us know. We'll help promote it and we'll help you out.
No, I appreciate it. I always appreciate it. You guys have been awesome. Right now, I'm kind of trying to figure out where my writing is going to go next, and so I'm trying to take it a little less seriously. Right now, I'm working on like a stoner rock jam about a chicken fried steak, and I want to see.
Nice.
Because I've been listening to Rickshaw Billy's Burger Patrol.
Okay.
And I was like, I want to make one song that sounds like this.
New show outro. Here we come.
Adam will vouch for this. Although I am one of those people you referred to earlier as one of those people who do take it too fucking seriously. I only take my own music seriously in that it's not that I don't want to write fun time, happy music, like basically I'm the person, I struggle to, like when I played live, I struggled to stand on a stage and enjoy it because I'm on the spectrum. It was very stressful for me. So because of that, I always lent into the arty side of stuff more because I was like, well, I'm not a performer. Like I am not. And so it's never been fun. And like I'm really jealous of any musician who has fun playing. It's just I can't. And sometimes it seems like I hate fun music, and it's not that at all. I love it. It's just I can't play it, and I'm jealous.
Yeah,
I genuinely am.
No, I'm with you. Like, it's very unnatural for me to try to like write a quote unquote fun song.
Yeah.
So
you have
I'm
your
challenging.
style, and you're challenging a way to do something, and I love that.
Now let's get into the last song. This is third song of the show. We're having a really good time hanging out with Doctor Nez. We hope you guys are too. This song is called Camouflage.
Contractually obligated to repetition. We all appear identical and interchangeable, and I suppose that's accurate in the end. Show out exactly the same way. So little that sets us apart, skewed perception. We all create our little world where we are valuable. Imagination guides us on our way. To
All right, so this actually hits pretty close to home. So I wanted to dedicate a section of the show just to talk about the song and just to talk about the music video.
Okay.
So this song hits pretty close for me as somebody with family that served, and just knowing the struggles and trials that come along with PTSD.
Yeah.
So the overall vibe of the song and the lyrics and everything, they just like it makes sense,
And
Like,
I'd also like to openly say, as somebody who's been a lifelong, because I don't have any connection to services or anything like that, but also as somebody who is a lifelong major depressive, any person who raises awareness of suicide issues is a good person in my book.
Right on.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, I do want to talk about a more fun aspect. Is the man made a desert rock song in the middle of the desert. Now that's props.
Dude, I want to live
That's
where
props.
you live.
That's props.
You don't. So I don't. For one, I don't live there anymore. So this was the location where you see me filming Camouflage is the same location that like deeply inspired High Desert Lows, especially the song High Desert Lows, which like if you were paying attention to the lyrics in High Desert Lows, they are not praising the location that I'm speaking of at all.
Pretty desolate.
Yeah. No, I lived out in the California Mojave for a little while, and like picture this: you're at home, and just for the sake of this, so I don't smoke cigarettes, but I used to. So let's put ourselves in a place. It's 8 p.m. You're sitting at home and you just smoked your last cigarette.
Mm.
Gas is $6 a gallon, and you need to go get more cigarettes. You are in for about an hour round trip.
Okay.
To go out to the nearest gas station, buy a pack, and come home. So if it's like 10 at night and you got to work in the morning, you've got to decide what's more important, having one more smoke or going to bed on time. And it's tough. It is tough living out there. And
I can imagine it is.
If we've got any listeners out in the Antelope Valley, nothing against y'all. You're cool people, and you're very resilient for being able to live out there. But
as a person from green old England, that image in that video is exactly how it's almost the stereotypical image of what an Englishman would think when you think of the desert in America. Do you know what I mean?
Sure.
And you go, oh, fucking hell, I'd love to go there. Because I've only ever seen green.
It's an awesome view. Like the scenery is awesome. And that was like where we filmed that was less than a mile from my house at the time.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I was practically in my backyard for that thing. But yeah, it was.
I was going to ask. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, and you can see that was all shot in one afternoon, and you can see that there are shots where like I look totally normal, and there are shots where I am sunburnt to hell.
That was my follow-up question: is how long? Because you can see it, and I was wondering how many days, but it was an afternoon. So was it? It was a handful of hours, basically.
It was a 6-hour shoot.
Okay.
So we spent 6 hours in there, just out in the middle of all of it, and I'm wearing that black V-neck, and I didn't bring like a jacket or like a sheet to put over myself or anything like that, so I just baked for 6 hours.
I mean, as a slightly dark point, but that is exactly why people die in the desert in a day.
Oh yeah.
Like, it happens so fucking quickly because it's so hot and there's so little shade, and it's so direct. You just burn to a crisp almost immediately.
Oh yeah, I was burning the rock that I'm up on top of for the guitar solo.
Yeah.
Oh man, my neck was on fire.
I could only imagine. I was watching the video, and you see the differences, the different parts in the video. But I just kept thinking, like, man, how hot was that, and how long did that take to do? Because I'll even think that if I'm watching a movie, and you can tell the location is, haggard in some way. I just think to myself, like, was that done on a soundstage? Was that real? How long were they really out?
Oh yeah, like when I found out that Star Wars 4, when they filmed like Tatooine, they're out in Tunisia for that. And every time I see a stormtrooper like out near the Lars farm after it's burned down and everything on Star Wars, I'm just like, gosh, that guy's helmet is just a sweat bucket.
God, yeah.
Oh yeah. It's just collecting. It's just like, because you don't see it leaking out, so it's just collecting up by his neck. He's just waiting for them to yell cut so he can pop it off.
Don't forget the farts that have seeped up through the armor and up into the helmet. That are just,
you can't forget the farts.
Yeah, now condensating on the helmet.
Yeah, anything. Or was it Peter Mayhew? Was that who played Chewbacca?
Chewbacca, yeah.
Just being in that huge costume. I don't care what the weather is. Being in that huge costume all that time.
Being that fucking huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see in the video the shots where there's like acoustic shots. There's shots of me playing the acoustic, and if you look at the body of the acoustic, there's just sweat like streaming down.
Yeah. But I mean, worth it in the long run because it's a really good video. It
also
just fun to watch.
What camera did you use for that? Because
that's an iPhone.
Is it? Because they do really good video iPhones now in good light, and obviously the desert, you're not short of good light. So, but it did stand out how good quality the video was on that.
It would have fooled me. You could have said some fancy camera, I'd have believed you.
Yeah, well, my video was iPhone as well, weren't Adam? And everyone went, "That's an iPhone." I went, "Yeah, I've just got studio lights, so it looks good now."
Well, there's even films, that have been done on an iPhone, and they're
well, they're doing
how well
the sequel to 28 Days Later or whatever it was. They're doing on an iPhone, aren't they?
Oh, I don't
Danny
know.
Boyle is currently filming. I saw a photo the other day. Danny Boyle is currently doing the sequel to the next, because there's 28 days and then 28 something else. Like, it's not really my
days
area.
And weeks.
Yeah, they're doing a sequel to that, and that is being shot on the new iPhone Pro Max. And there's photos come out of him with the full fucking rig, and everyone's going, "Oh, it's not an iPhone." You're like, "No, it is an iPhone. All of that is just lens, and you'd have that on any other film camera, but on the back of it is just an iPhone. That's the video sensor, and he's obviously got it rigged up to a thing, so it's constantly moving the data off the phone, and it doesn't fill up and all of that stuff. But it is being filmed on an iPhone for the cinema.
Yeah, the camouflage vid and the Mark the Grave vid, they're both iPhone.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
Modern phones are amazing.
Yeah, it's really something. Yeah, this was cool, man. I'm glad we got to talk a bit. I'm glad we got to listen to some music. Fans of Black Tornado have obviously heard Doctor Nez in a previous episode, and like we said in the beginning of the show, we've been planning this for about a month or so, and I'm just really happy that finally we got to get to this point. We got to hang out for a bit. This was cool. It's a good time.
This was the highlight of my weekend, of my week, probably my month. Now this is
brother.
This is really, really awesome. I'm honored to have been on the show. And
hell yeah, dude. We're glad you had fun. You come back anytime you want. We'll talk video games for an hour.
Yeah, I'd love to do it again. Absolutely.
Well, Doc, we hope you had fun on the show. We sure had a good time having you here and talking about your music, and we will definitely have you back on in the future some other time.
Yeah, man, it's been awesome. Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to the next one.
Hell yeah, absolutely, man. All right, well, as always, I have been your co-host, Adam.
I've been here.
And we want to give a special thanks to our friend Doctor Nez.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Head over to his Bandcamp. Head over to his Spotify. What do you got? Instagram. You got Facebook too?
I've got all of them.
Got everything. Jump on everything. Find Doctor Nez. Tell him Black Tornado Podcast send you. And we'll see you in 2 weeks.